Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into a really fascinating conversation.
Yeah, it's from the Joe Rogan Experience, episode #2310.
Right, featuring the incredibly inventive filmmaker Robert Rodriguez. It aired April 24th, 2025.
And our mission, really, is to pull out the most compelling bits, the nuggets from their, almost 3-hour chat?
Yeah, recorded down in Austin, Texas. We've got some, really unique filmmaking stuff to explore here.
Definitely. His hands-on techniques, how he sees the industry, it's quite a look inside his process.
And we even get that playful bit about Joe Rogan maybe acting.
Yeah, that too. But seriously, this chat gives such a remarkable peek into the creative engine of Rodriguez. You know, the director behind Desperado, Spy Kids.
From dusk till dawn.
Exactly. And he talks about these, pretty unconventional methods that really challenge how Hollywood normally does things.
It just speaks volumes about imaginative problem solving, doesn't it?
It really does,
Yeah.
especially in filmmaking.
Okay, so let's unpack this. One of the first things that really grabbed me was Rodriguez's method for planning. It sounds almost low-tech.
The note cards, you mean?
Yeah. He basically maps out the entire movie scene by scene on these little cards.
Right. Arranging them like a visual roadmap, it's quite tangible.
And it's such a contrast, with all the complex digital tools people use now.
Well, that's the thing. This very hands-on method, laying out every scene, it gives him this holistic view, like of the narrative flow, the pacing.
You can just see the whole film right there.
Exactly. As a cohesive unit, it's a very direct way to visualize it all.
It's like storyboarding, but maybe more fluid. He said he used it for everything.
Yeah, from El Mariachi, his super low-budget debut.
To massive productions like Sin City.
Right. And it's not just about seeing the film beforehand. He argued it has real practical benefit.
Like saving time and money on set.
Precisely. Because you have this detailed pre-visualization, the actual production gets much more streamlined, smoother.
Did he mention that story about Desperado?
Oh, yeah, where the note cards actually helped them salvage a scene that just wasn't clicking.
See, it just shows how that kind of meticulous planning can be, well, invaluable when things go sideways during filming.
Absolutely. It helps you navigate those unexpected challenges.
Okay, so moving on. Here's where it gets really interesting for me. Let's dive into how they made Sin City.
Yes. Groundbreaking stuff for 2005.
You can tell Rodriguez was just so passionate about getting Frank Miller's comic book style onto the screen, like directly.
That commitment to the source material's visual language, it just leaps out. He wanted every frame to feel lifted straight from Miller's graphic novel.
And that look, that stark, high contrast, black and white, with just splashes of color.
The whole neo-noir vibe. Achieving that meant a heavy reliance on green screen tech and digital effects, really pushing the envelope back then.
It wasn't just him either, right? It was a real collaboration.
Definitely. He worked super closely with Frank Miller himself. And didn't Quentin Tarantino guest direct a scene?
Yeah, that cameo. Plus, he shared some cool tidbits about working with the actors, like Bruce Willis as Marv.
Seda Willis really got the character, and Jessica Alba was in it too, of course.
And if you connect this back to those note cards.
Good point. You can see how that kind of planning would be absolutely crucial for something as visually complex as Sin City.
It let them nail that comic panel look, shooting almost frame by frame, knowing exactly what the final image needed to be.
It really was technically innovative for its time.
Okay, let's pivot a bit to something almost the opposite end of the spectrum, budget-wise. The story behind his book, Rebel Without a Crew.
And making El Mariachi for, $7 grand?
To $7,000. It's just incredible. And it really hammers home that idea that passion and smart thinking beat big budgets.
Oh, absolutely. Rebel Without a Crew is like required reading for indie filmmakers for that exact reason. It shows resourcefulness is the ultimate superpower.
He used borrowed gear, right? Taught himself editing.
Turned sheer grit and, determination into a Sundance hit. It's legendary.
Rogan asked him what the key takeaway was, and Rodriguez was so direct.
What did he say?
Basically, resourcefulness beats budget every time. Simple as that.
Makes sense. He even gave that advice, like,
use what you've got. My mom's kitchen was a set.
Ha. Yeah, that's filmmaking boiled down, isn't it?
It really is.
And what's compelling about El Mariachi is how those limitations actually kind of force the creativity.
Right. When you don't have endless cash, you have to get inventive.
You make unique choices that end up defining the film's whole feel, its character.
Okay, shifting gears again. They also talked about something much more recent, the the pandemic.
Right. COVID-19 and its massive impact on the film industry. It's interesting hearing his direct experience.
Yeah, he talked about that immediate shutdown. Productions halted, sets just went dark overnight.
His own film, We Can Be Heroes, got caught up in it, faced delays.
And ended up going straight to streaming.
Yeah, shifted
Yeah.
to Netflix. It shows how things changed.
He mentioned adapting, like doing pre-production remotely. That must have been a huge adjustment for filmmaking.
Oh, for sure. It's such a collaborative, hands-on medium usually. And it wasn't just his film, it was industry-wide chaos. Schedules wrecked, theaters closing.
It really forced the industry to adapt quickly.
Definitely. And that rapid shift towards streaming platforms becoming, well, even more central.
But he missed the onset vibe, didn't he?
He did. He reflected on missing that crew energy, the spontaneity. Said Zoom collaboration just isn't the same.
Yeah, you lose that human element, that spark.
Exactly. It highlights how vital that in-person connection is for the creative process.
Now, this next bit was kind of a fun detour, kind of a bit personal.
What was that?
Rodriguez actually suggested Joe Rogan should act in his next movie.
Seriously? Like, which one?
He playfully threw out Machete 3.
Get out! That's brilliant.
It just shows how creatives see potential everywhere, maybe.
Yeah.
Rodriguez said Rogan has this pure charisma.
Well, he does have a certain screen presence. They joked about him doing a tough guy cameo.
Yeah. And they mentioned Rogan's old acting gig on news radio.
Oh, right. Rodriguez even teased about putting him through action training.
It was just a fun, spontaneous moment. Added a different flavor to the chat.
It definitely adds a little what if,
Right.
doesn't it? Shows that kind of informal brainstorming that happens.
Okay, so finally wrapping things up. Rodriguez shared his core filmmaking philosophy. Some really solid advice.
Yeah, what was the main thrust?
His fundamental belief, it's about the story gear, doesn't matter.
Brings it right back to El Mariachi, doesn't it? Using his brother's camera.
Exactly. It's such a crucial message, especially now when everyone seems obsessed with the latest tech.
Right. He's reminding us that filmmaking, at its heart, is about telling stories that connect with people.
And his main advice for aspiring filmmakers was pretty blunt.
What was it?
Hustle and heart. Don't wait for permission.
Love that. Just get out there and do it.
Yeah, he really stressed learning by doing, not being afraid to mess up. He mentioned learning stuff, even on big films like Spy Kids. Always adapting.
That constant learning curve and that final call to action.
Pick up a camera, your film's waiting.
So empowering. Just cuts through all the excuses and says, start now.
The best way to learn is just by practicing, right?
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
So, okay, let's try and boil this down. What are the key takeaways here?
Well, we saw the ingenuity of the note card technique, right? A really practical, visual way to map out a film.
Then the deep dive into Sin City, just how groundbreaking that visual style was and the tech behind it.
And of course, the El Mariachi story. That $7,000 feature is just endlessly inspiring. Pure resourcefulness.
Yeah, and then they touched on the big industry shifts during the pandemic.
And that little curveball about maybe seeing Joe Rogan in a Rodriguez film someday.
Yeah. It was a wide-ranging chat, really.
It was, from very practical, hands-on methods to these broader industry thoughts and personal reflections. It paints a great picture of Rodriguez.
His vision, his adaptability.
And just that unwavering focus on the story.
Okay, so before we wrap up, here's something for you, the listener, to maybe chew on.
Go on.
Considering Robert Rodriguez's huge emphasis on resourcefulness, on just using what you have, think about this. What passion project have you maybe put off?
Because you thought you didn't have the right gear or enough money or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe, just maybe, the most important tool isn't something you need to buy.
Maybe it's just your own ingenuity, your own drive.
Perhaps that's all you really need to get started.